Hi there, my name is Tyrese Charles, and this is my Derby 10K evaluation presentation. So, just a little bit about the Derby 10K. So, the Derby 10K was held on Sunday, the 7th of April 2019, and it was held at Pride Park Stadium, which is the home of Derby County Football Club. The race started at 9 o'clock in the morning, which meant that we had to get to the stadium quite early, and we got to the stadium at 7 o'clock just to make sure that everything was set up for the runners. So nothing had to be rushed. The event is organised by Derby County Community Trust, and this is one of the biggest events that they do, and it helps to fund a lot of the projects that they do for the community in the area. And also, the Derby 10K is the biggest race in Derby. So, yeah. So, just an introduction into what team slash group I was in. So I was in the business team challenge group, and that consisted of four members, which was myself, Josh, Liam, and Spiros. Each person in the group had two specific roles. These roles were chosen through doing a big five personality test and a 1, 2, 3 test. By doing these tests, it allowed everyone in the group to see what our strengths and weaknesses were and choose roles depending on what personalities we had. The business team section had different businesses with at least four runners in each team and no more than 10. The businesses paid extra money to have access to the pedigree suite, which is located at Pride Park Stadium. They also had access just outside the pedigree suite, which overlooked the stadium, and they also had the benefits of having complimentary teas, coffees, biscuits, and also a massage after the race. And as seen in Appendix 1, there were 418 runners in the business team section. So, as the business team group, we had different aims and objectives that we wanted to complete. One of the aims and objectives was to provide safety of runners' belongings by creating a baggage system. Another aim and objective that we had was to make sure all runners were on schedule to be at the start line on time. So the runners started to get to the pedigree suite at around 7:30 in the morning, which gave them an hour and a half before the race started. And making sure that they were on schedule was very crucial. And we wanted to make sure that no one missed the start line and it could affect their timings. Our other aim and objective was to provide us with valuable work experience. So, being second year sport management students, we are nearing to the end of our university career, and we will be going into working with different employers very soon. So, having that experience of working at a big event with more than 4,000 runners being involved, it will be very valuable for us to put on our CV, and it will show employers that we have uh, the skills of working with, uh, being in a group and working in a big environment, in big fast working environment. And our last aim and objective was to ensure no injuries occurred within the pedigree suite. So, the outcome of the event, no injuries occurred within the pedigree suite, which was brilliant for us because that was one of our aims and objectives. Um, all the belongings to the runners were safely given back, and this was done because when the runners put their bags in the boxes that were located near the pedigree suites, all the boxes were locked, so no one was able to get into the boxes because I had the keys because I was the person that was managing the baggage system. All runners were at the start line on time for the race, and that was very important for us because that meant that their timers would not be wrong when they did get their times at the end of the race. And also, the layout of the room was correct in terms of the tables being in the right place and everything like that. So, just a reflective screencast. So, like I said at the beginning, each member of the group had two roles, and one of my roles was the room logistics. Rashid and Sultana state that time management can be characterized as habit development through determination and practice. And through working at the ticket office at Derby County, I was able to have access to the pedigree suite to look at the room layout beforehand. Hence why I was given the role of being the room logistics manager. And being organized is a basic soft skill that is needed to be productive, referenced by Walker 2017. And from doing the Big Five personality test and the 1, 2, 3 test, the group decided that the baggage system should be my role, as I am quite organized and being early and knowing what to do. However, there were a few things that would have been done differently. One of the things was making sure that the presentation was displayed on the televisions around the room. So, as being the room layout manager, room logistics manager, sorry, I created a presentation that had all the businesses that were being involved, logos on one PowerPoint. However, uh, they were not showed on the televisions in the pedigree suite. So that is one thing that we would have done differently to make sure that the presentation was going to be shown on the televisions. Another thing that would have been done differently was to have a radio to contact Emma Pilgrim during the event in case of any emergency. So Emma Pilgrim was the person that created the event, and she was the head of the event and helped us with the business team challenge and things that were being involved in our group. However, we did not have any kind of contact with Emma during the day as we did not have a radio or anything like that. So if there was an emergency, then we wouldn't have been able to contact her, and we didn't know exactly where she was situated in the stadium. So that is something that would have been done differently. We would have, what we could have done was meet Emma earlier, if she had time, so we could kind of get a radio, just to kind of have that contact with her if anything bad was to happen. But fortunately, nothing did happen. So yeah. Another thing would be to get in contact with a member of staff from the Derby County Community Trust, just so they could tell us how many volunteers there were, and if we was going to be allocated the number of volunteers that we asked for beforehand. So as seen in Appendix 2, there were a specific number of volunteers that only turned up, and unfortunately none of the volunteers were given to us, and we asked for 4 volunteers. One of the volunteers that we asked for was going to be used for the baggage system. They were going to be held accountable of standing outside the boxes while the runners were running, but unfortunately, none of the volunteers were given to us. So we had to kind of use our own initiative. And as being the baggage team leader, I was the person that was standing outside the boxes to make sure no one got in. And the last thing that would have been done differently was to utilize the seating area of the stadium outside. Um, Outside the pedigree suite, there were seats outside overlooking the stadium, and we could have used that to kind of take photographs of the teams, and that would have been really nice for the teams to kind of take home with them a picture of them outside the pitch. That would have been quite good, but that is something that we would have done differently. So yeah. And that is the end of my presentation. Here are the references that I used. And here are the appendix. So this is appendix 1, and this just shows the number of runners, the company names of the businesses, and the team names of the businesses. And here's appendix 2, and this is a WhatsApp group of the sport management second years, and as shown, there were only 121 volunteers that turned up, and there were also 4,055 runners that ran during the event. Thank you for listening.